Hi, I'm Chad Colby, and today I'd like to give you some tips on how to get started using the DroneDeploy system with your DJI UAS platform. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz in the ag industry over the last several years about the use of unmanned systems. And once you get past the general scouting features, which are very valuable, I think it's important to understand some of the technology that's out there today that really takes this equipment to the next level. And I'm not talking about spending $10,000 or $20,000. I'm talking about taking a $2,000 system like you see right here, grabbing it out of the box and putting it to work. It's important to confirm that all your equipment is updated properly and ready for flight, and also to make sure you follow all federal, state, local regulations. If you need help on regulations, go to knowbeforeyoufly.org. But as far as using the system and getting ready for flight, you basically need just a couple minutes. As you can see right here, I've taken the ship out of the box, made sure it's got a properly charged battery, inspected the ship for any issues. Now I'm mounting up the iPad, getting that plugged in correctly, kind of verifying we've got good solid battery charges, all those things. And then simply after that, I'll turn on the app. And one of the first things the app will tell you, and that'll be to start up the ship and the controller. Always remind people I always start the ship up when it is stationary and on the ground, so you don't disturb any of the systems as they start up. Today we're fortunate enough to have some technology that allows me to mirror my iPad, and this is real time here. Basically, here's the DroneDeploy app, and we'll walk through the process of starting up a flight plan. There's a few things right now, just some kind of tips we've learned here. You can notice right now kind of how my map is not clear on the screen. If you rock that thing from portrait to landscape, as you'll see me do here in just a second, the screen will kind of pop up, and then the Google Maps will insert. You can see down that lower left-hand corner, it says drone connected. Obviously, it utilized the GPS function, so it knows where I'm at. I'll type in test flight here, and then right now, as you'll see, basically it will tell you how many acres you're going to fly, how long it's going to take, and as I kind of adjust the flight area, you'll see those numbers change here in just a moment. Right now, the flight time is already increasing from 2 minutes now to 4 minutes, etc. And then obviously you can go in and you can adjust that altitude, change the flight direction. There's also some advanced settings here we'll show you in a minute as well that work very good. You can see I've changed the altitude. Now my flight time's up to over 4 minutes. And when you go into the advanced settings, I like 65 for overlap. You can play with those settings. Obviously, you will learn very quickly if your crop is very consistent, altitude is your friend. Always tell people to start at that 385 level and work your way down from there. It's handy to have the functionality now to adjust your flight direction. So if there's a reason you want to go the other way, it's more efficient, or you want to fly perpendicular to the wind, you can. Once that's all set up, basically down in the lower right-hand corner, I'll hit the check mark. It'll go through its own pre-flight checklist. And when that's all said and done, you'll see that blue down the corner will actually turn into an airplane. You'll hit that button, and then it's time for business. The ship will take off on its own, as you're watching right here, and it'll take off, and you can follow along right on your iPad, which is pretty awesome. This is in real time right here. Now, I've turned the time lapse on to 4 times, so you don't have to sit and listen to me talk for 4 minutes or 5 while this thing flies. But this is a great rendition of how it works. You can see it flying to the first waypoint, and then as it flies, you can actually see the still images kind of pop up on your iPad. Now, on this mirrored version right here, some of those are a little distorted, but in the field, they're actually crystal clear. But it's nice because it gives you the in-flight telemetry during the flight. So if you would ever have any issues at all, and any time during the flight, you can hit the button up on the upper left-hand side of the controller, pause the flight, open up your DJI app, and take over the ship at any time, or just hit the home button in that lower right-hand corner. Bring the ship back. You'll get a warning at 30% battery. When you get to that point, and at 20%, it comes back and lands on its own, and you can continue the flight if you want to do more acres than what the battery will allow. Phantom 4 will easily do 100 acres, depending on the resolution, and you can just keep adding batteries and keep going from there. So the ship descends now from 380 feet, and will land within about a 10-foot circle of where you took off from. So it's important to make sure there's no trees, right? No vehicles or anything like that parked near the landing site. And as you see me walk back here again, it's just a minute or two, and I'm going to have this thing put away very quickly. I'll pull the data card out of the ship, and that's what you'll put into your laptop computer and upload that imagery directly to DroneDeploy. You'll see when it's done, it says congratulations, tells you how to do that. And right now, as you see, I'm just putting all the equipment away and getting ready to actually head home. And then I'll throw this data into my computer and get it sent to DroneDeploy for processing. The processing procedure is very easy. It's not difficult at all. Once you get home, obviously, depending on your internet upload speed, that can be a challenge for some of our folks that handle this. I'll hit the upload button. I'll select the photos. Now, I've already kind of looked through the data on this card, so I knew which images I wanted. And you can see right now, I'll hold down the shift key and I'll select these images right here. And I'm also advancing this upcoming upload process about 8 times. It took about 10 minutes. So I've reduced that to basically about 2 or a little less than 2 minutes. But I'll tell you, 23 acres, 440 meg of data, 75 images. I hit finish. You can see all the little green dots right there. That indicates a picture. And we'll start that uploading process. It goes pretty good. Obviously, certain times of the day it might be a little slower than others, but as long as you've got a 5 megabyte upload speed, that's what I've got here at home. That works pretty good. Been in some places where I've had as high as 90 meg upload speed, and that's just actually quite epic. As far as that goes, it also can be frustrating if you're at the 1 meg or less. It's a very painful process to upload the data. But this is really the only interaction you have with DroneDeploy during the upload process. You select the images, you click on the data, and send it right up. And it works very good that way. You can also pause it if you need to come back and upload data later. Say you get sidetracked or you got another project or you need to stop it at any time. You can also put different types of data in here as well. We did some experimenting with some 3D stuff the other day, which was pretty impressive as well. So as long as you have georeference data, you can throw it right in there, and it works very good. As you can see here, we're winding down the processing part as far as uploading goes. And then after that, basically, you just sit and wait for your data to be done. And when it's during the processing time, you can still click on it and look at the data, but that data will change some during the process. So I kind of usually check on it once if I'm available. You can see all the images right there. That's the projections. That's kind of the crop plan there that shows what data I did collect. And then when it's done, you'll get an email. You can click back into the user interface now. It's considerably different. And as you can see right now, you can see that 23 acres we've stitched together. Those, I believe, 74, 75 images. That is a stitched together basically image, and then you can go in and start messing with the data. You can see right now I'm just kind of doing some measurements there just for fun. I'm curious as to how much acreage is in that old building site right there, so you can just drop a box on there, and all these are easily within 2%, which is pretty impressive. And then obviously as we scroll around the data, there's just lots of fun things you can do with this, and I get it. There's other solutions out there as well, but man, for taking the first step in remote sensing, it's really hard to beat what DroneDeploy can do. Obviously, they've got a way to create plant health or NDVI imagery from an RGB camera like everybody else, and it works very good. And it gives growers a place to start, right? Identify some of those problem places in your field and go out and ground truth them. I like some of the note-taking ability it has. You can see, we can clearly see a little something going on in this field right here. You can go out and make a note to ground truth this. It's got the coordinates on it. It tells you right where to go to. you could take this app right out with your mobile device and walk right to the spot, which is pretty neat. The other side of the, I guess some of the no thrills features of this, they just work so good. You can click and make a 3D model of your land as well, or whatever you've taken imagery of, and that just puts your farm in a completely different perspective, which is very interesting, especially when you start talking about erosion and drainage and all the things that we all know that can affect our farming operations. It's pretty unique. And then obviously you can see right below the 3D model, there's an elevation map too, which I really like. This is kind of neat. Just again, it's all about education, and it's all about the functionality of what these products can do for a very, very low cost. The other thing I will tell you is if you get a chance to take imagery with this, I typically like to fly between 10 and 2 or 3 o'clock in the day when that sun's up in the center of the day. If you notice right now, I've clicked on that little map icon up at the top where it says area there, and now I'm adjusting basically the crop plan. And what's unique about that is I shared earlier, we flew 23 acres, and as I kind of tune up the boundaries, right, you're going to see I'm going to take this thing down to about 15 acres, which is pretty interesting, and you can just do all this at home in just a few clicks. Some other stuff that I've learned along the way too, if you're on one of those days where it's really cloudy and you're in and out of the clouds all day, that doesn't help your imagery any, unless you've got a sensor that can calibrate that image in flight, which there aren't that many out there. DroneDeploy clearly is not going to do that right now with just a Phantom. Obviously, you want a flight where everything is really consistent above to give you the best chance to have some great imagery. A lot more information if you go to DroneDeploy's website. I want to thank the guys at FlyingAg and certainly our friends at DroneDeploy for all they've done. This is amazing technology, and it's hard not to be excited about where this stuff is heading in agriculture right now. Also, for more information, you can reach me easily on Twitter at hashtag the Chad Colby, or on my website, colbyagtech.com. And remember, if you have any questions about flight, be sure to check out knowbeforeyoufly.org.